What's up, y'all? Happy Friday. What is going on with y'all on this Friday night? Just waiting for some people to come in. What is up, girl?
Yeah, you stay encouraged so goddamn tight. Yeah.
I'm so hot.
Hey, Naj.
What's up, y'all? Thanks for joining on this Friday night.
Yo, my forehead shiny as shit, boy.
I told you what was going on with me.
I mean, I just hopped into me, feel me? Of course you did, sir. Of course you did.
All right, let's see where. Just waiting on two more people.
Because I'm over here watching Love is Blind on Netflix.
I feel like that is a show I need to be watching because every time I turn around, there's something being posted about it. What season is it on?
I think it's the third.
Yeah, see, I'm always behind on stuff. Okay, there go one person.
Make sure y'all got y'all questions ready. Because JD, it's about to get hot in here.
Wait, how do I do this? Hold on. There we go. There we go. Okay. Okay, figuring this out. It's first time doing this. Okay, what's up?
Hey,
Okay,
hey,
what's up?
ladies.
Okay, the whole squad is here. Okay. So, thank everyone for joining us tonight. Can you guys hear me good?
Yeah, can you hear me?
I can hear you. Jazz, say something.
Something.
And I know I can hear Abby because we was waiting for y'all. But again, thank you everybody that's tuning in. We are here tonight to do a recap of Candid Conversations, Navigating the Dating World. I hope that you all got an opportunity to go check it out. It's 2 podcast episodes back. If you haven't, that is okay. You can still check it out afterwards. All the links are in my bio. But we got so much feedback, right? And we thought it would be a wonderful idea to come live and to discuss some of the things that the feedback that was given to us, as well as bring up some other conversation topics that we be talking about on our own. We also put a shot of airplane out there for some other people to come on within the next couple months. So we got some things coming. But again, thank you all for joining us. Where do we start?
That is
Okay,
definitely the question.
so let me just try to give like a quick synopsis for those that may not have got an opportunity to check out the episode. So, see, what had happened was we were having a conversation about just dating and pretty much our definitions behind dating. Some of us are like just stepping into that dating world again, and it's been a long time, fresh out of relationships and different things. So it's a lot of nuances, and it's just complicated, or people are making it complicated. So we just was having a collective conversation among ourselves, and I was like, you know what? Let's go talk about this. See what the good people got to say. And I didn't expect half the reactions that I got, but that is pretty much what brought us here. Okay, so where do we start, y'all? Because I know, Jess, we talked about how to lead this in, because from the beginning, pretty much.
Right. So me and Shakita were talking the other day, and I was saying how, well, actually, I listened to the podcast back because we were talking about so much. I said I had to refresh myself because we hit so many points. And I wanted to make sure like maybe we address some of the things we didn't go as deep into. And what I realized was how she actually started the conversation. We never really talked about that specific thing. Remember, she started off saying, like, you know, when you're dealing with somebody, everybody's feeling each other, but then all of a sudden it seems like they don't want to date you. And then she gave all these random reasons for why you might think somebody might not want to date you. But we never really spoke about that. So I guess my thing is we never touched on potential rejection, or just how do you handle, like, if you think things are on one path, it kind of deviates. How do you handle that?
Communication. I'm gonna ask you, what's going on? Are we good? Are we not good? Because I feel a little switch up in your game. Like, what's going on? Because well, either you gonna lie and say, "Oh, no, I'm fine," but then I'm gonna come back with the, "But you acting different." So something got to be up.
How do you lead into that conversation though?
Uh,
Because some people are not confident enough to even. Everybody ain't you, okay? They're not just going to jump out there. How do you lead into that conversation?
I'm a straight shooter, so
So
I
we're
go.
talking about potential, right?
Mm-hmm.
Are we talking about the potential reject or the actual reject?
Like, so Jess said, like, if you're in the midst of like talking to someone, and I think this is where the lines get kind of blurred, at least for me a lot of times, and they things have been one way, so you continue to expect them to be that way, and then all of a sudden they hit a total 360 without notice. So what are you supposed to do with that?
I mean, I feel like in today's time, though, a lot of people don't say, they just ghost. I get a lot of ghosters.
Okay.
I get sometimes, so I don't really, my type of dating is hanging out. And so when I hang out and I go onto these dates, like sometimes you can actually feel the vibe on whether or not there's going to be a second, third date or not. Sometimes those things are disclosed. Like at first it's like, oh, you know what? There are some guys that will tell you, I want to see you again. Some people don't get enough. Sometimes it's just not enough the first time.
Mm-hmm.
But then even if you got a first time, a second time, and a third time, for me, I realized that I'm a good catch. And I realized that I've come across guys that are always interested or intrigued by me. But the thing is, they ghost me when I don't give them more. They ghost me when I'm too slow at a pace that they weren't even expecting how things should, you know, vibe to. So it's like, okay, maybe I really don't want to reject her. I don't want to say I don't want to bang with her, because maybe if she give me that moment, you know, I'll take that moment when it's at my presence again. Like sometimes people forget, but then all of a sudden it's like you posting on social media, and all of a sudden they remember you because you done posted a photo or a video, and it's like,
Yeah.
dang,
Mm-hmm.
I forgot I know her. I forgot I had her phone number. But you ghosted me.
And you know what? Like, I agree, but I think also, like, because we also talked about, like, the lines being blurred, like, trying to distinct the difference between that talking stage and dating stage. Like I said, from my personal experiences, sometimes I mesh the two together. So,
Yeah, I do
I,
what you're saying.
yeah, like, I'm thinking, okay, like, we're talking, so, like, I am kind of committing to this person in a sense. Like, it's not, like, an official
Mm-hmm.
relationship, but we're getting to know each other. And then I'm like, now it's like, oh, but that's dating. I'm like, so do you skip the talking stage? Or are
I
they like,
I think it becomes more of dating if it's you always hanging out with this person, you always talking to this person, and it seems like you're just focused on this one person. I think some people have the potential span of having to deal with multiple people. I don't know how people do it. I don't know how people cheat. Too many people are needy.
yeah.
But it just seems that for me now, like I guess because of the age and the phases that I'm going through in my life, it just seemed like, look, all this talking on the phone and all this texting, I just need to see you face to face. At this point, I just need to see if you really brush your teeth, how you really look. I'm not even worried about, like, there's so many things that I'm not even worried about that I used to be worried about in my early 20s or as a teenager. It's like I really want to see like how you can look, how we can look, how we can communicate and converse and connect in public. Like a lot of things for
What's
me
up,
right now,
Janelle?
like public matters, and
Mm-hmm.
whether I need witnesses, whether I just need to see how you communicate with other people, whether or not I can vibe with you in multiple and various environments. Because
Mm-hmm.
you know how it is with your friends. You have a lot of friends, but you can't take your friend everywhere you go. They just don't fit.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, at this point, if it vibe, it vibe. If it don't, it don't. You like me, cool. But just know that I'm just not going to give you all of me all at once.
And I think that's important. And I'm just going, Gabby, I think, said, what is the talking stage really? Isn't talking and dating the same thing? See, that's what I'm saying. Like, I've never dated. I don't think I've ever really dated. I've like talked to people and it consisted of dating things, you know?
I
We
mean,
were going out, going out. Like we were
But
doing a lot of things.
remember what we kind of all like talked through and agreed on during the first episode. A date is a specific thing, but the dating stage is something
it's
defined. It's
actually
something that you both know you're on the same page about. And I think that's where the different lies. It's like a lot of times we vibing, we going with the flow. You know, you like somebody, you talking to them, getting to know them, but it's like once again, as Abby keeps saying, communication. If you don't have that actual communication where you both feel confident that you're on the same space, same page, same space, that's where a lot of things get complicated. And just to backtrack, when I was thinking about that one particular question about the fact that we never talked about the rejection piece or like whatever it is we think is happening, something I did think about is sometimes it could be somebody's way of protecting themselves. Even though yes, communication should happen, but you ever get so wrapped up in somebody that you almost kind of scare yourself? It's
oh,
like,
of course.
whoa,
Sometimes I
I
sabotage
feel like I
my
feel like
own
I'm moving too fast. I feel like
thing.
I'm falling too fast. So maybe that person is actually pulling back. It's not that they don't like you or that what's happening isn't genuine, but that could be them slowing their own selves up for their own protection. But yes, communication should obviously happen.
See, like me and you talked about that. Like people will respond a certain way to protect themselves, right? Then on the flip side, you have some people that don't like rejection and they don't do well with it. Not to say some may come off in a harmful way, some may not. You know, some people just don't like being told no. I'm that person. I don't like to be told no. And if you are switching up on me, like I feel like I deserve a detailed explanation. Explain like where did the disconnect happen? Because in my eyes we seem fine, you know. And I also realized like the
A
person
reason or closure?
no, because I wouldn't say closure. I feel like closure is like more so if we're no, I wouldn't say closure because we ain't closing nothing now. Like if we like because and I guess some people, at least for myself, come speaking for myself, I have to get used to hearing no. When you're a person that you have never been used to people telling you no or people just doing things that you want or need, and then it's like someone you know you shoot your shot or whatever, and they just like not right now. It's like, what did you just
But
say?
remember, everything is about personal perceptions. So just because you
Mm-hmm.
perceive something a certain way doesn't mean it's the truth for the other person. So it's simply just communication, whether it's you speaking up for yourself to ask the questions that need to be asked, or they may be doing something that they don't even realize is affecting you a certain way, which is probably majority of the time. You know what I mean? Like they doing what they doing based upon how they feel. They're not even realizing like, oh, they're not thinking I switched up. You know, definitely if it's somebody who's not purposely trying to be manipulative or, whatever it is, they going through whatever they're going through. And a lot of times, what do we always say? A lot of stuff is not personal to you. It feels personal. It's affecting you, but they're not doing it purposely to harm or affect you. It's just they're going with whatever they're going with in the moment. That's why it has to be confronted.
Yeah, I agree, and I feel like even speaking for me and anybody else, you just have to learn how to maneuver through those situations. Like I have really been working on not taking things personally. Like how other people respond, that don't have anything to do with me most of the time. Like, you know, and sometimes I have to like come and check myself, like, did I do something? You know? Or I'm working on communicating just overall being able to like step out there and be like, hey, can we talk? What's going on? But I mean,
Hey, Keisha girl.
What's up, Keish? I'm a work in progress, like many people. But again, like it's just so much. You know, the dating world now is just so complicated. And also I
Wait,
feel
no,
like
let me add on though. Remember I told you that no is always an option. And not everybody
right.
is afraid or vocal on their reasons. And just like
Hmm.
what just said, sometimes we take things a little too personal, or we read into too many of the lines, and we sometimes just take little pieces of the wording and
Hmm.
we try to conclude it for them.
Hmm.
So 9 times out of 10 it's always best, just like how it is to believe that person when you see them, just take everything for how they actually said it, how they projected it, the volume of it, the way it just went, and be like, you know what, I'm just gonna walk away and think that it wasn't me. I'm just
And it's
Hard.
and it's okay.
It's
It's okay to
hard
need
for me though.
clarification.
It's hard because I'm an overthinker.
Yes.
I overthink
Yes.
Somebody
too, but
will
I
say
think
something,
about
Yes.
a
and I'm
lot
just
of I
like,
think about a lot of results and actually conclusions too when I'm
Hmm.
overthinking.
Well, it goes back to what you said on the episode. So again, let me just put this out there again for everyone that's just joining. Thank you guys for joining us on this Friday night. We are recapping our candid conversation episode that we had on navigating the dating world. So we're just giving a recap because we got a lot of feedback from it, and we just wanted to do some more live discussions and stuff. So again, if you guys haven't checked out the episode, the link is in my bio, and it's 2 episodes back. Jazz, you said it on the episode. Yo, he is bad. You
I would
said
say,
it.
can we acknowledge our fifth co-host? Who is our fifth
Yes,
co-host?
Cash Money. Wait, Cash
Okay,
Money.
everyone, this is I don't pay no rent. I rent everything. I eat what I want. He's Cash. Cash say hi. Call him. He might just cock his head up.
Call him a little Boosie. Oh yeah, he looked up for that.
Well, he is giving all the energy.
Yes. But Jazz, you said it on the episode, like how sometimes like we will create these whole delusions in our head about like who, what, when, where, why, and then half the time it not even be that.
Yeah. Um. When it just seems so right, we just paint
Yeah.
that pretty picture. We paint that future, and it's
Hmm.
like, well, I thought, but this what you did. Why can't we get no more? Why can't we
Hmm.
go a little further? And it's
Yeah.
like, well, dang, I feel
Y'all,
like I wasted my
the
time.
math
I
the
feel
math
like
don't
I've
be
just wasted
mathing
the
because we
body
be
count.
adding
I
stuff to
feel
the
like I
equation.
just put out the
Hmm.
energy and somebody else could have got it.
Well, then it
So
becomes confusing when, like, again, the energy and everything seems so right. Like, you guys seem like you are in alignment together. Communication, Abby, is going well, right? The math is actually mathing, and then
right.
there's just some switch. And again, like I do understand and want to acknowledge what Jess said. Like life happens to all of us.
it
That's
could be
why.
it could be various reasons though. It could be like I said, the pace. Some people just not patient. Some people want things instantly, and then those intentions aren't as clear. So it's like, well, I thought I was doing the right thing. Am I missing something? Is this something that you want me to do for you more? You want to see? Like, is it something like I don't know? Like a lot of times people just don't tell you how they want things, how they like things, and it's kind of hard when you in that beginning dating stage because you're creating moments or things in hopes that that person like what you're doing.
Oh,
So
okay. One of y'all said that you're not supposed to like put everything out there on the forefront. So when is it the right time to put certain things out there so you won't disconnect with the person?
To me
that's a
it's
great
about
question.
to me it's about your own comfort because obviously we can never pinpoint a particular point of time because that just wouldn't be realistic to everybody, you know what I mean?
Mm.
But you have to truly be comfortable with what you're doing with that person and in that moment. It shouldn't be anything that you feel forced to do. And it actually shouldn't be anything that you're overthinking. So I feel
Hmm.
like, if you're really thinking that much about something, then you're probably not comfortable about it.
Right.
But you just need to feel comfortable. My thing is like we block ourselves because of overthinking. We could be perfectly fine, and then once we start creating these scenarios, we done created a whole situation that's not even true, but now we're reacting to something that's not even realistic. Maybe the first thought in the process was true, but we added so many things to it then now we got an attitude, and it's like, hold up, we didn't even have this. We have a bigger issue now than we had to begin with. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
I get that. And it comes from experience. Because we feel like sometimes those moments just feel too good to be true because we're not used to what they're doing, or we're not used to someone doing it consistently or on a genuine level. So it's like, dang, this can't be right. Are you sure you're not cheating on me? Can I just see just your phone just a little bit? Just give me one of your passwords.
For me, when it comes to that, lately, I'm not even gonna say lately because, like I said, I'm an overthinker. So what I've been doing sometimes,
What's up, Billy?
I have to like talk to myself. Like, it might sound crazy, but I have to talk to myself sometimes. Like, girl, chill out, because that's not what he said. Even though in the back of my mind, I'm like, that's what he said. Even though that's not what he said. Or if I'm texting or something, I'll take a screenshot and send it to one of my homegirls.
Yeah.
She'll be like, I'm like, yo, am I bugging? Or like, what exactly are you getting from this? Because this is what I'm getting. And she'd be like, yo, calm your ass down. Like, you're doing too much. That is not what he meant. This is what he said. I'd be like, all right. And then I'd be like, okay, I'm going to just shut up and not say nothing. Because I'm quick to say something like, is this what you mean? Because this is what I'm getting from it. And that has gotten me in a whole lot of trouble. So,
well, you know I do. You know I do the same thing. So we're not going.
Look, I go through them bipolar moments too. I feel like I'm angry with the person, and then I'm all too nice, or I'm all lovey-dovey again. I'd be like, what just happened? You just did a whole bunch of stuff to me. You just did something to piss me off. And then here I go, feeling like I'm bipolar. Like, how did I get to this point when I was just mad at you 10 hours ago? You just really hurt my feelings. Now I gotta make you suffer, and then by me making that,
not suffer.
No, I be pulling back. I be, limiting the calls a little bit, responding to the, text messages a little later.
Well, see, I do stuff like that to see if they'll pick up on it or whatever.
That's toxic.
Huh?
That's toxic sometimes. No.
Hold on. Oh my God.
That is giving
it's a difference between appropriate consequences to behavior versus playing games. We gotta be real about that.
Most definitely.
That's not playing games. That's not playing games.
It is.
Listen. If I can check myself, no, listen, hear me out, because y'all just jumped on me. Y'all ain't let me explain. Janelle, don't laugh at him, because Janelle, you already know. See, what happened was, what I was saying was, like, if I realize the person behavior is starting to change towards me, and I've tried to get them to open up or whatever, I'm going to follow and match your energy. I will pull back, because maybe I'm doing too much. Like, like y'all said,
but
sometimes we can get
matching energy. And hear me, because you know what I'm.
No.
Matching energy is a game, whether you want to think it is or not.
Okay, wait. Bad choice of words. When I meant matching energy, I don't mean it in a bad way, though. Like, if a person, if it's obvious that you have something going on, the last thing you need is me and my shenanigans added onto what you got. So yes, I will match that by pulling back, and I'll still be there whenever you ready to get your shit together. But otherwise, I'm not going to keep giving, and you ain't like.
Right. That makes sense. But if the communication part is missing, that's when it goes into game territory.
No, I said I tried to communicate.
Yeah, but my thing is, and Stella I guess this is my thing. In pulling back, what is it that the person can do, or at what point do they have, like, what is the timetable between you seeing what you need to see? Because my thing is, if somebody's already, in a general sense, proven that maybe they ain't up to par or where you at.
Thank you, kicking it with the girls. Why somebody agree with me?
Except for what basically in that type of scenario, what's going to make you just exit the situation? That's really what I'm trying to get at. You know what I mean? Like, if you've already communicated with somebody, they're already showing you that they're not meeting that level. Why pull back and not just exit? That's what I'm saying.
Because maybe I'm psyching myself out. So this is the thing. If I because like you said, we can overthink sometimes, right? Maybe this has nothing to do with me, everything to do with you. I have a little intuition. It can read a little bit. I kind of can sense when people have stuff. I'll try to be supportive. I'm not going to pound on my insecurities and problems with whatever you're dealing with. So I will pull back. Now, if you're continuing to still meet me at some level and we're still vibing, and I can still tell something going on, I'll stay within them that however much you give me. But then if you ghost me, oh nigga, you're done. Like it's no coming back from that. And sometimes, yes, I do wait for people to make the first move to just dip. I don't have that problem. I don't think I've had that problem often. But if yeah, like I don't cut it off fully, Jessica. Unless it's like toxic and you done been disrespectful and just started a whole bunch of unnecessary stuff, then yes. But if we're kind of still like vibing at some point and I have an understanding something is going on and it's not me, then I'll meet you halfway. You know what I'm saying? At the end of the day, we're not together. We don't have an official label. So what else?
I don't think a lot of justification has to take place, especially with no label or.
Yeah.
I just don't like when things getting for like kind of, maybe it's just the way you initially explained it, tit for tat territory. That's what I don't like. Like, no, if you're doing whatever you're doing, I'm not matching you. I'm just accident because I'm not going to use my energy in that way.
Right.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. No, I don't got time. Like maybe back in the day, in my 20s, early to mid 20s, I would. What's up, Leash? I would match somebody's energy. I don't got time now. It's just like a wrap. But you know, like, and then on the flip side, if a person is giving you every single sign that they are just totally not interested, oh, that's the time to exit left. Most definitely. Because what is it? What am I here for? And then with me exiting, there's no coming back from that. Like Jazz said, like people will come back as if they didn't just shit on you or ghost you for 6 months or something.
And all of a sudden you look good on social media and it's like, so yeah, you look good. When we try and link up.
Yes. Who's that? Somebody said I was Jazz matching
Jazz,
my
we got
energy.
a comment.
Who's that?
Would you like to address this comment?
Who that is?
Somebody I know.
Oh, okay.
All right. We'll leave that there.
Don't put me on the spot in this group live. We talk personally.
All right, we just trying to find
moving
out.
On.
They want you to match that energy.
So, what's the next topic for us to touch on? Because I do want to say that the tip and tap that I was speaking of is the one when you're already in with someone. Like,
yes,
I feel like there are some people that are naturally toxic. Mm-hmm. There are some people who
yes, they do spin the block like nothing happened.
Behavior for fun, insecurity, lack of trust, and there are so many people who hurt and they want to hurt others too.
Hurt people.
That is something different for another topic, another day. But yeah, I wanted to.
Did you say being toxic for fun?
Yeah, people are toxic for fun.
Toxic is a whole culture now. It's like a whole celebrated culture.
Yeah, I hate it.
Imagine the makeup sets after that. Just imagine it.
Well,
people love that stuff.
We can have that all the time. You ain't gotta be toxic. Shit.
No, that's toxic. That is toxic.
What?
But yeah, let me see. What was another? We talked about so much.
Cash, stop. Get down. Don't get down.
There's no men. Is it any men in the chat?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay. So if it's a man in the chat, can you answer my question? You can put it in the chat. You can DM me. I'm just really curious. Do y'all really know when y'all are interested in a woman?
Yes, they do. I can answer for them. Yes, they do.
Because I'm really curious, and I know I brought this one thing up on the episode that like if you're genuinely interested in someone, why do you feel like, and this can go both ways, men and women, why do you feel like you got to keep going out here and seeking other stuff if you're genuinely interested in this one person? Like,
they're just not ready.
They're not ready, and sometimes they feel as though they might be ready per se, but they think it might be something even better. Like, you might have certain characteristics and stuff. They're like, yeah, she got it, but it might be somebody out there that has.
I think fear plays in that too.
Okay, so this person says, this is the man that went jazz to match his energy. He says sometimes we lose interest fast.
So if y'all are losing interest, why don't you speak up and let the woman know, like, hey, I'm losing interest because of X, Y, and Z. Can you
Mm-hmm.
work on that? Can we work on that? Like, why are you doing this or whatever the case? Because it might be her in her own mind overthinking or some type of trauma that she's been through or something like that or whatever that has her doing certain things for you to lose interest. She
Mm-hmm.
might think this is too good to be true. So she
Mm-hmm.
might start having doing toxic traits and doing toxic things for you to lose interest. So you can, sometimes us women will do things to make you be the bad guy by ghosting us or leaving us. Like, yes, we do have some of those toxic traits. I'm sure none of us here do. However, there are women that do. So communication goes back to my key point.
It's like, or is it actually even more simple than that? Like, obviously, we know one man can't speak for all men, but you know how, like, it seems like for men, it's almost like this woman is this new bright and shiny object.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, it's not even a deep thing, it's a surface level thing. So, like, maybe once that it's that one thing that kind of turns them off, they good. They're good on it. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, is that a part of it too?
Well, I think if that is the case, like Abby said, it would be very helpful for people to be honest about those things up front, opposed to continuing to lead a person on and making them think that everything that they're doing
It's
it
okay.
is okay. Because, like you said, some people and many women for the most part respond from trauma and different experiences, like we talk about this all the time. A lot of people actions, or let's take this a little deeper, that whole feminine and masculinity concept, right? A lot of women have more masculine energy in some cases because they've been traumatized, and it's them like shielding themselves from like hurts and stuff, you know what I'm saying? um I don't know, and I know a lot of men don't like that. I know a lot of women that are in same sex relationships don't like that. It's a lot of significance when it comes to gender roles and different things too. But again, if a person don't speak up and say, "Hey, you did this and it's a little turn off," or "Can we work on you talking like this?" Remember, we saw that video, and the man was pretty much saying like women that use I'm gonna just say aggressive language is a turn off. And I'm like, well, dang, half this stuff I say all the time. Like I say half of this stuff all the time, and I may have been told like by maybe two people who were irrelevant that there was a problem, but otherwise, how am I supposed to know that like my language is a turnoff if you don't say anything?
But
Is
I think it goes
everybody
back to
work?
the conversation we had the other day about men being a little quicker about saying, I'm not dealing with this.
Mm-hmm.
You get what I'm saying? Like women, we are a little more, women like
Yeah.
projects. Most of us like projects, like for real. If we think we got
Mm-mm.
somebody who's like a good shell of a man, a lot of us will take the time to see if we can transform the situation, whether it's changing the man or just simply giving
Mm-mm.
it time to see what will happen. A lot of men, not saying all men, but a lot of men, as soon as it's something they don't want to deal with, I feel like it's easier for them to be like,
I'm done.
because if I can find something else that's easier, why would I deal with this?
Yeah.
That was gonna be my question. Like, is everybody worth fighting for? Not
Wait,
everybody is worth fighting for.
hold up. This man just said exactly. Okay.
And he doesn't like masculine energy from women at all.
Do you? All right. Abby, shut up. I ain't gonna go
Go
there.
ahead, Abby. Go ahead. You
No,
can
go
go
ahead.
Do you give? I don't know who you deal with or whatever the case, but are you giving the woman enough? I don't want to use the word submission. I'm
You
trying
see
to
somebody listen, somebody said not bring it still down.
stay away from that word.
Oh my Lord.
Away from that word. But are you giving us a reason to be like, I don't need to be masculine? Like, I can be more, I don't have to be hard up.
When women are with someone,
Not to be hard up. Like,
yes, like when we're with someone that's making us feel safe and comfortable,
you
we
ain't gonna
can
get the masculine energy.
Yeah, you may get a
But
little. It's a
but the
part of
thing
us
about that is
regardless.
it takes time to develop that between two people. And I think that's the point. They're not going to go that deep with a woman to get to the point of seeing if that can change over time. Because if I can find somebody where I don't have to deal with this, I'm not going to. It takes time to nurture those qualities and really see who people are at the core. So if I only known you for, a week or a month, that's not long enough for me to soften up. So I get it.
It depends.
Listen,
It
I
depends.
literally asked God to not send me no one else that I have to do healing work with. I asked him to don't send me no more projects. This is my personal preference because I feel like in the past, when I would get those individuals, I would build them up to where they needed to be and then they would dip. And now I got to watch you do everything that I wanted you to do for someone else. I don't have time for all that.
I ain't watching your ass do nothing. Go ahead and do it. I hope that person burn your ass like you burnt me. How about that?
I don't have time for it. Like, and this goes back to what we were saying when on episode when we were saying that some people don't even know what they're doing, they don't even know what they want, or they just don't have any specific intentions. This girl here, I got specific intentions, and God knows my heart. I don't want no more projects. I just don't. I hate to even label people as a project because I know that I was probably a project too, but they just wasn't successful in fixing me. I had to do it myself, but some people are just really dependent on
On others.
or just the potential of, you know what I'm saying? So I just, yes, Shay, no projects. They need to fix themselves. Exactly. And that is a therapist speaking, y'all. Go to therapy, by the way. Go to therapy, by the way. But like, what do y'all say about people that like are in the dating, like they're dating right now and they just have no true intentions or they don't know what their intentions are? Because we talked about that a little
That's
bit
fine.
too.
That's fine if they're honest about that.
Yeah, that's fine.
Exactly.
Like I
Things develop.
some people just go into things with no
Different.
goals. They just go in fun, experience. Maybe it could be age based. Like a lot of times, like people go
Amen
use
to
trends.
that.
Yes.
Amen to that.
People
I'm sorry.
people use trends to keep up or to feel like they're moving or succeeding in certain areas of this dating thing. But it just depends.
Yeah.
It's situation by situation and by person by person. Like it just depends.
So let's take time to acknowledge this pinned comment. You have to have discernment with your energy. Some of us attract people that need healing because of our less energy, and we got to say got to say no to that.
That's definitely
That's 100% truth. Like if you're if you're
100%.
if you're light, I'm not calling people dark. It's not darkness, but you know what I mean. If you naturally are a light, like if you speak to my cousin Ash, of course, y'all know who
Hey,
she is.
yes.
She speaks about light work.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of us are healers. We have light energy, so that's going to attract the people who need that. So like this person is saying, we have to discern whether that's something we should or shouldn't attach ourselves to.
Exactly.
Because we can't, because
We can
naturally
control the
healers want
pace
to
in a
heal.
way. You don't have to be their healer, but you can refer them somewhere. You can like show them another way or alternative, or I don't know, just be that support rather than always being that they're dependent. It's a way to go about it. Like you can navigate and redirect.
I think
If
sometimes people
you
just
if
get
you catch it
comfortable.
at time enough where you're not in a position to reject or to say no or to be in a position where they think you're not supporting or you don't have an advice or an answer when they need you the most. So it's just like you got to be very very observant and aware of that dialect, that vibe,
Right.
that
I don't want
energy.
anybody to ever think that I'm responsible for them in that way.
Exactly.
Right.
Exactly.
Right. And that makes a lot of sense. And I think for some people, they don't have the discernment to kind of negate those different things when meeting people. Like you said, when you meet a new person, and just, I know you said this on the episode, like sometimes you just really be like in like with that person and you just like, oh my God, and you may not be able to pick up on like those toxic traits. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes people don't show you all of those things until like you're completely sucked in. And then with that, what do? You're already so far in. It's like, okay, do I let this go? And my heart and feelings are already tied in this, or do I try to fix this person and this new baggage that
Oh,
they just
that's where you
dropped?
messed up at. You can't fix nobody.
No, I'm not saying for me, but I'm just generally speaking, because this is how some people are in relationships, or even with dating. Like, people feel like, you're not what I need you to be, so I'm gonna make you what I want you to be, because we've been rocking this out for so long, and I don't want to take a chance and risk somebody else getting you, or me trying to go out here and date and be with somebody else. So I want to create what I want in you. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah. And typically the means by that happening is going to be manipulation, and it's not going to work anyway. So if it ain't genuine, I don't want it.
Yeah, if it's not real, I don't want it.
Yeah, I don't want it. Let me
If it's too
see.
much energy, oh my goodness. I had an experience with someone who was put away for a long period of time, and dating, for them was very, very new. However, they were in a predicament where they were mentally processing like this new age, their surroundings, the job, all these things. And yeah, he said something like, yeah, I just need you to be here for me, and whenever I have an episode, I just need you to help me count down and reground myself. And I'm like, are you going to pay me for this?
That's a lot. Was y'all in a relationship, or y'all was like talking?
No, neither. We went. I feel like I told you this before, but I don't want to say it on live. But we went out. We dated. We went on a date, and then I was invited to his place, and I never went back. But we don't. There's no awkwardness. There's no pointing fingers. Well, I blame you for this, and you blame me for that. It's just they just hit me up just to say hi. That's it. They see something they like, they comment, and that's it. But yeah, it was like I couldn't figure out if he was putting my degree to work, or if he really wanted me. He really wanted me to be with him and be that.
Yes,
That is
boundaries.
that is
Boundaries.
I won't say all relationships require work.
Yeah.
However, I don't want to be burnt, and I don't want to feel like someone in a relationship is receiving more attention or more intimacy than the other person. So I couldn't do it.
So relationships, you said all relationships don't require work?
No, I
No, she
said
said they do.
Okay.
all relationships
Oh snap.
require work.
Oh snap. Big Lisa done entered the chat. Big Lisa
Ooh.
Hi, Miss
coming
Lisa.
through. Big Lisa done entered the chat. Big Lisa was taking us to school a couple weeks ago.
No, but the words were wise.
Yeah. Let's see. What did she say that I can appropriately speak on this live? What's up, Ma? Um, damn. She crazy. Okay, I got it because my mother made a very good point to us. And it goes back to that whole feminine masculine energy or whatever. I will say this, that my mom was like superwoman. She was doing every single thing. She was working 2 to 3 jobs, raising me and my sister. Shout out to you, Bailey. I seen you slide through here. Raising my sister. She was married at one point, but her energy was very unbalanced. She was more masculine than, feminine. And it played a part in her relationships, all of her relationships. And she couldn't and did not allow anyone to do anything for her because she was so INDEPENEENT. She was so independent that no one else could do anything for her. And recently she disclosed with us that before my grandmother passed away, my grandmother told her she wanted her to be married and to be happy. And with her doing that, she had to let go of some of that and she had to step more into her feminine side and allow a man to play his role. Allow a man to play his role. And again, it goes back to what we said earlier. Like, that is okay if these men or whomever is creating that safe space for us to let our guard down and step more into our femininity. You know what I'm saying? So, shout out to you, Big Lisa, for that.
But don't forget to add on to whatever something else that she had mentioned.
What's up,
Her
Shantae?
physique and how she looked and how she present herself. Like the guy expecting for her
Okay,
to
yeah.
change when that was how he met her. That was what he embraced from the
Okay.
beginning.
Yeah,
So why all of
so
a sudden we into this and you're expecting me to change what I thought was something that you would rather, see me in on a very consistent basis. Like when I switch up myself, that's because I want to try something new. And if I'm trying something new, I'm hoping you'll either support or you'll communicate with me and be like, yeah, babe, I don't think that's the look for you.
right.
You know what I'm saying? So
So
don't put it out there, but allow me, to try gracefully move, into that direction of change without me feeling like you're changing me.
but
Or
see,
me
this was
feeling
the
like
problem.
you don't like the way I look anymore. Like
This is what the problem was. And what Jazz is referring to is, let's see how much I can say. My mom, I
yes,
think
be my peace and I'll be your safe space.
that goes both ways though.
Exactly. I
I
can't
will
be
be your
your peace.
peace
I
if
have
you
a
be
Be
my
my safe
peace.
place.
Like
Man, you about
that
to be
goes
see
both
to
sleeping
ways.
me.
tonight.
I'm not into the be my peace. I'm into don't bring me chaos. Meaning,
Period.
you got your peace, I got my peace.
Yes.
We create safe spaces for each other. So I'm really not into the be my peace thing, because once again, that exchange isn't always equal. It isn't always even. So create your own peace. I should have my own peace. We can add to each other's peace, but we are not so responsible for being each other's peace.
Yeah.
But that's just me.
Yeah. So what I was saying was what my mom had told us. She was dating someone or talking, whatever they were doing, and the person was into her. And for those that, of course, don't know what my mom looked like, my mom is a bodybuilder and she's a trainer and she has a bald head. Beautiful lady, 50
Very
and over
beautiful.
crew, very beautiful. And she dresses very feminine, like makeup, earrings. Like my mom is very feminine. Here she go. Here she go. So true. I was raised to take care of the household, and getting married, that's all that I knew to be the mom and dad. But now at 52, I will allow the man to be the man. See? See? So
I love that though. If
the
I'm telling
man,
you how to be a man, you ain't the man for me.
the
I
man
shouldn't,
that, the
I'm
man,
not a man, so I shouldn't be pointing out manly things for you.
the man that she was talking to, he embraced her for her physical appearance, her intellect, all that stuff. And then somewhere down the line, he's like, "So yeah, when you growing your hair back?" And my mom
Never.
had
Never.
already disclosed, like, I'm going to be bald for the rest of my life. She explained why she's decided to shave her hair and everything. And yeah, they had to part ways because he could not understand why she did not want to grow her hair back. And it's like, we came to the table when I was already this way. You know what I'm saying? I was already this way. And to him, it was like intimidated because he's seen it as masculine. And I mean, he was a trainer too. Like they worked out together and everything, so he knew her to have her feminine side, but he also wanted to change her. And he didn't have the right to do that. So that's what Jazz was referring to. And yeah, I'm glad you said that, Big Lisa. You said at 52, you will allow the man to be the man. Absolutely. And I wonder, do people realize that sometimes, not just in your relationships, but when you have an imbalance of that type of energy, it affects your relationships in just everything about you outside of that. Like I have come to realize that about myself. Am I willing to change that? It's a work in progress. But it definitely can like intervene in other parts of our well-being. At 52, I'm happy with me and my appearance. I love myself. I'm strong and I can't let no one change me. Hey,
Amen.
preach, Big Lisa, preach, preach, preach. Yes. And I'm pretty sure it wasn't an overnight job, especially when it's so much chaos and stuff out here, when
Chanel.
people telling us how we should look, how we can't look, what we can say, what we can't say. Like, it's just a lot. And again, I don't want to be with somebody that is going to dictate how I dress, how I look, and all that stuff. Like, I just don't. I just don't. But I want to go back to something because be my peace. This whole be my peace thing, and, and creating a safe space, because we touched on, and Abby talked about it mainly, creating safe spaces for men to communicate with us.
To be open, to be
Yes.
vulnerable, basically.
To be human.
Now, how do you do? Like, I'm just asking a general question. How does one create those spaces?
You have to be accepting of what they say. And I think that's the thing. We always try to tell, well, not necessarily us per se, but society in general always try to tell men that they're wrong for feeling how they feel, or for reacting to how they feel, trying to change the scenario. So that's when they start to limit, what they say or what they show. So you really have to be accepting, because why is it that we can, like, I can just come up to you and just bawl out crying. I can do that and it's acceptable.
Right.
Because we said, oh, women can do that. Not saying like you necessarily want a man to come up to you and just like falling out, but if that's truly how he feel, we have to be accepting of that. Like, why are we trying to limit how people should and shouldn't feel and how they show how they feel?
Well, is there such thing as being too? And like, I know me and Janelle talked. We all talked about this.
We sure
Yeah,
did.
yeah, because like it's important to talk about this, because like I didn't think that there were so many different sides to this. Is there such thing as being too emotional?
No, it's not. And I feel that this where this feminine energy plays a big role. Sometimes we do have to find ourselves being sweet and soft, because I mean, if the man is crying his eyes out, you don't want to laugh in front of his face and take it funny.
Right.
So it's like sometimes we have to respond in a way that fits the circumstances. And men really do enjoy the soft, the supple, the I love yous, or I got your back. Sometimes they need to hear it. They act like they don't want to hear it. But if we never did, if we never told them what we really mean, or if what we're doing for them is very genuine, they wouldn't know. And also they wouldn't know when to be vulnerable. They wouldn't know if they can trust you with a secret. They wouldn't know how to come to you and ask for anything. Because 9 times out of men, bro, the solid ones don't ask for help. I also mentioned the other day, I don't know if you guys remember, but society also tells them, you got to move on, get over it, hustle, keep grinding, keep doing this. But then I feel like a lot of the females are always been told, well, your emotions matter. Just show and don't hold back, and just, go how you feel. And it's like, your time will come, but we're not always pushed. I feel like we are always given more time to make amends or to fix our mistakes, rather than a man being pushed to hurry up and move forward. It's like they have a situation, but that situation only counts for that day. The next day comes, it's like it's a new era. It's a new pinpoint. It's something new. But it just seemed like women are given more time, or they're given the analogy that we have more time, and we're not always pushed to hustle, because hustling is like a masculine thing. Like it goes harder. So it's like, dang, like, who do I need to be? But I guess who you need to be, or how you should go about things based on that person.
Right. That's exactly the word I was thinking of. Grace. That's the word I was thinking of. Women are given grace where men aren't. We're allowed to process. They aren't, but we're conditioned in the same ways, but opposite. Like, men are conditioned to not share or not be emotional. We're conditioned to feel uncomfortable if a man shares and be emotional. So it's like, how is it that we're supposed to be here, puzzle pieces, but the way in which that we're conditioned, it puts us against each other.
I think for some people, it's a battle of like the whole masculine thing. Like people look at men like you're not supposed to have these emotions, or at least for that matter, show them. I've talked to guys before and they say like, yeah, I'm in therapy because that's the only place I can go to cry and to talk about my feelings. Like I have people in my life that love me, but I can't show these things around them because I'll be judged. They'll call me weak, and men aren't supposed to do X, Y, and Z, you know? And I feel like on the flip side, unfortunately, a lot of women do not know how to meet men where they are with their emotions because they don't even know how to process their own emotions, and they don't. With the internet, they don't know how to create those type of spaces.
I don't think a lot of women know how to treat a man though. Women
It goes
have
back
so
to your
many
upbringing.
lack of
Do men know how to treat women?
It goes back to your upbringing. You
it
have to
does,
think about
Abby. It does.
we talked about this. It goes back to your
That's a good
upbringing
question,
because
Shonda.
if I'm in a house and I'm growing up with just my mother and she's not bringing men around, I'm not sure how I'm supposed to treat a man because I have not seen that type of relationship.
Not
If I'm
even that.
seeing it, I'm seeing it on the TV. I'm seeing it now. Nowadays, you got this generation that's seeing everything on social media.
Mm-hmm.
You like they're seeing a Christian in blueface, like Shakita said, like that is not that's
You
not a
told me not to
positive
bring that up.
I'm sorry. That's not a positive reinforcement. You have you have males that are growing up in a household with just women. Of course, they might have that. They'll probably know how to treat a woman depending on how their mother is with them. But let's say you have uh, a little girl and she's growing up with her father, and her father seen his father bringing multiple women in. So now he bringing multiple women in, and now she's seeing it. Now she's gonna think like, I'm just recyclable. It comes down to your upbringing sometimes.
I mean, my mom, like after my mom's divorce, she didn't bring men around us. There were some, but they were like family or like
Oh, we
godparents
got
and stuff.
John Wick on Tubi.
She, oh my God, she didn't bring men around us, but that doesn't mean I didn't know how to treat a man. Like, cause my mom taught me to treat men respecting them and to maintain certain boundaries around them. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Um, Now, the way she ran her household, yeah, I made that mistake. No offense to Big Lisa. No offense to Big Lisa, but my mom worked, and she knows that she ran our house like she was a warden at a corrections facility because she worked in corrections, So the things that she did when I moved into my relationship and we were living together, I ran my house exactly the same exact way because I thought that this is what it was supposed to be like. The only difference is I was in a same-sex relationship. That was the only difference, but it still was like it was toxic. It was very toxic. But yeah, I feel like a lot of times men want us to treat them a certain way, but they're not willing to do the same for us, or at least learn what it is, because some of us don't require a lot. you know like knowing each of y'all, I can really say that y'all don't require a whole lot like some other people that I know. And you're sorry. I Big Lisa said, I agree with the young lady up top. It was six of us, and my mom never brought men to our house. Growing up, I did not know how a
I'm
relationship
not
should be. I learned how to treat men from the Brady Bunch. I'm not playing with you. I'm not playing with you.
No, but she's breaking up
I'm
the
not.
point when you
But
were saying
it's
how
true.
sometimes you learn it from TV or you learn it from these other
True.
Hold
things
on.
that
Hold
teach
on.
us.
Man, the Brady Bunch was not out swinging in parking lots at people for taking spots. Like,
And she act like she don't know me. Lisa, I am Jasmine,
yeah,
girl.
man, do you not have your glasses on? Do you not? Can you not see Jasmine and
No.
Abby and Jess? Like she's talking about some of the young lady at the top. Like, what is going? Are you out? Are you still at Hot Tops?
Don't do her.
Like,
Don't
are you? You is tripping. But no, I agree. And like back to what Abby said. Unfortunately, this generation now is learning how to do everything through social media. So I have to give this example because I wouldn't be me if I didn't. For example, there are men. There are grown ass men Yeah, I told y'all. I told y'all.
Okay, she enjoying her Friday. She's
Uh,
still tuned in.
there are grown men that are out here idolizing people like 50 Cent, the Baby, and Tory Lanez. And y'all about to catch where I'm going with this. And I say that because they're idolizing them and everything about them, but they don't know who they are. Tory Lanez
Mm-hmm.
shot a black woman. Yes, and I'm standing on that. And they're still going around idolizing the fact that it's good, re-traumatizing her as a Meg Thee Stallion for the things that she went through. But yet, these are the same men that want women, black women, to create these foundations and spaces for them. But then you turn around, you do another black woman like that. And
They want women to be their peace.
right. You got, you told me not to do it, but you brought up Blueface. Like, sir, really? But again, these are the men that society now, this upcoming generation, is idolizing.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? And then based upon the things that they see them doing and rapping about and all this stuff, they're going out here and portraying these things in their everyday life. And when it comes to women, it's just like, well, they said it's cool and they doing it, so I'm gonna just think that I can go out here and bust a girl in her nose, and and that's portraying love. That's love.
Mm-hmm.
And Abby, I remember your friend said made a good example. Like he's seen his mom like pretty much treat his dad like he was supposed to be treated like a king. So when
Mm-hmm.
women out here now do opposite of that, it's a little confusing to him because he's like, did she just say what I think she said, or are they really acting? And I think also another thing that plays a big part in all of this is cultural backgrounds. You
Mm-hmm.
know, I have friends, Abby being one, come from like a Caribbean or an island background and stuff. And then I had this conversation with one of my white friends, and she's a white woman that dates white men, and she's like, she's very masculine, very very masculine, feminine presenting, but very masculine in her behaviors. Has never had a problem with men addressing her because they have a problem with her masculine or feminine energy.
Yes. I'm sorry, I was
Mm-hmm.
reading a comment.
What she
The
I
said,
was trying to
generational
get to
thing
where
is
she's
definitely
getting, but I didn't want to
political.
cut nobody off. But
someone
I was
read it
trying
out
not to lose
loud.
my train of thought.
Read it out loud. Read it out
I'll
loud.
take a step further. Look at your lineage and how the women in your family have been treated by men. Sometimes it's a generational thing, and we have to interrupt the cycle. And I said that
Yeah,
growing up with my mom and my father.
Girl, you on
it's
point
it's
tonight.
it's a lot. It's a lot. Like I don't know how I made it by the grace of God, and my ancestors prayed for me before I was born. That's how I feel about my life. But
Exactly.
instead of me being taught, those things was hidden from me. So my mom always kept me from ending up in a relationship, or she always stalled me or put fear in my heart that I shouldn't like a boy, that I was too young to understand that my emotions were valid. Um, that's a long story. That's somewhere down the line for y'all. Only y'all, not live. Um, but there's a thing where all women can't teach women how to treat a man, but it's okay and it's acceptable for the father to actually share some things about the possibilities of what a man may want, need, or how to cater to a man. I feel
Mm-hmm.
like having a father plays a big role in a daughter's world because not only do they get that feminine piece or they're born with that feminine piece, they're being taught how to control or how to portray a masculine piece of them. 9 times out of 10, I feel like we choose that for ourselves depending on our experience. As soon as something happened to us, all of a sudden we develop this type of defense mechanism. And then I feel like every level of defense becomes much intense than the last
Mm-hmm.
based on life. So
Mm-hmm.
that generational thing, not a lot of us, unfortunately, have our fathers. My
Mm-hmm.
father is in my life. He was at one point. I know who my father is. My father knows who his children are. But my father has not chosen to be a father to me, to continue to raise me.
Mm-hmm.
My father just isn't there for me. My father hasn't even been there for me on the most memorable and successful pieces of my life. So to not
Mm-hmm.
have that type of support, I lend on not necessarily, watching the Brady Bunch or reality TV. I usually hear what other people are going through or went through, the relationships that are around me, the men that I come in contact to just socially. I just use my own, my own
Experience.
mind to decide on how to go about the man that's in front of me. Because not every approach or every plan created is for every person that you come in contact with.
Mm-hmm.
So it's I won't say that it's a lot to deal with, but we really need to take and handle the situations that are literally in front of us.
And I was just going to say that at what point do we as adults take the initiative to say, you know what, just because this was modeled before me as a kid, I know that it's not right, but you have to take the initiative to like change and want better for yourself. Because I still find a lot of people that is like, well, this is what I was taught growing up, or like from their past experiences, they're still letting it play a huge part in their current life, and it's screwing. Honestly, it's screwing them up, especially in relationships. So it's like, at what point, at what time do people say like, hey, it's time to get it together?
Right.
It's time to get it together. And I'm not big on that whole generational curses thing. I'm not. I'm more big on like just breaking those negative patterns. Like, just because like I'm not going to discredit like my mom and my grandmother and my aunts that raised me and the things that they try to instill in me. They are very so much relevant. However, at my big age now, I can still bring some of those words of wisdom and things in, but I am creating my own life for me. And like you said, some things don't work for everybody. They
It's our
don't.
maturity. It's our maturity. A lot of times I feel like, especially young females, even the females, that I grew up with, like the kids these days, they're not doing much of anything different than how we came up. It's just more out in the open. Not everybody cares about privacy anymore. But it seems that we remember, like back then when we were coming up, a lot of times where we be the people or that person that everybody think we are, so we start acting like it. Oh, so
Mm-hmm.
you're gonna sit here and call me a hoe? I'm gonna do hoish things. I'm
Right.
gonna really show you that I can be a hoe.
Oh, I'm a bitch. I'm gonna be a bitch.
Exactly. But there were so many females bold enough to actually live that type of life. Like, some
Mhm.
of us live hard lives. I don't know.
So let me go back to the question. Did y'all grow up with dad or a male role model? I didn't meet my father until I was 22, and I'm 33 now. So I met my father. I've literally been in his presence about 3, maybe 4 times at the most. I've always, to an extent, knew who he was, but I had male role models in my life. Like I said, my mom was married at one point, so I had a stepfather, who he did what he could do. I'm not going to discredit him for his parenting, but I had good, stern men role models in my life. Um, my mother said, "Girl, I did not meet my dad until I was 43. I was grown, 2 grown daughters. He chose not to be in my life, but I still have supposed to say, a loving heart." Yeah, she met her dad at her grandfather's funeral.
And then I guess I'll speak because, you know, all of y'all know, but specifically Shakita really knows my family structure. It's weird because I'm a little bit older than all of y'all too, so
Not that
they'll
much.
play they'll play a part in they'll play a part in what I'm about to say in a general sense. I feel like I'm typically the anomaly in most of my friend groups because of my family structure. My parents have been married for 51 years.
Mm.
I'm very close. I'm very close to my father. Like, I'm literally probably like my father's twin. Like, the way I communicate is literally the way my father communicates because he taught me this communication style. My grandparents on my mother's side were married for 70 plus years before my grandfather passed. My grandparents on my father's side, they just died early, but they would have, they were together.
Mm-hmm.
So I've always had a really, 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 really solid family structure. I have a lot of aunts and uncles. Like I said, people who know me know I have a huge family. I have like 50 first cousins.
Mm-hmm.
My mother has 12 siblings, you know. So I come from that structure of marriage, of, family support, everybody being close. To this day, If you see me out somewhere, 9 times out of 10, I'm with my family.
Yep.
And
And
I
they're
bring
so
that up.
inclusive. Just wanted to add that.
Right, no, right. My family's cool. You know, if you cool, then you family too.
Yes.
But I bring that up because, and I brought the age thing up for a reason too. I'm the youngest out of my siblings.
Right.
I have older parents.
Mm-hmm.
My parents are in their 70s.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that plays a big part in the fact that my experience is different than a lot of my peers. You know, my people come from a different generation. So whereas if my friends' parents could technically be my parents' children, you know what I mean? So I think I experienced something a little different, literally because my parents are from a different generation, and I just always had the older generation around me.
Mm-hmm.
I'm saying my mom is 65 and my father is 70, somewhere, somewhere in the 70s.
All right, well,
But
everybody except for you.
but then again, I have a Caribbean background, so that goes
See, that's
that
all they're
plays a
saying.
lot into it.
Mm-hmm.
Plays a lot into it. So
So,
So for me, my mom has 8 siblings. I grew up with a big family, but my first cousins and myself, like we didn't add on to that. Not a lot of us have kids and all that other stuff. But it's weird because my grandparents were married for 53 years before my grandmother passed. So I had that marriage and that relationship structure of man and woman and how my grandfather treated my grandmother. I have Southern grandparents. My father's side of the family, they're from the South, but I never met my father's father. Um, I leaned more on my mom's side of the family because they were bigger, they were much more structured. We did a lot. We held a lot of family gatherings, events, etc. Long story short, the males in my family, they still weren't vocal or teachers. It's like you know your uncle is your uncle. You know your cousin is your cousin. But at the same time, nobody's is overstepping another sibling on how they raise their household or what's happening in their household. So however you conducted yourself, you just need to conduct yourself outside of my house. But of course, if you did something wrong or if you were in the presence of another family member, of course they're going to call you out. But they won't necessarily just teach you. Sometimes with the aunts and uncles, it's like if you don't ask me what you need, I can't help you.
right.
So for me, I had to go and ask my aunts and uncles. Or if they heard something because my mom just couldn't hold water for what was going on with me, it was like, oh, baby, they just embraced me. Oh, baby, we all went through the same thing.
Yeah.
Or don't worry about it. You're going to get through it. But at the same time, like I mentioned before, like my mom, she hid those things from me. And I wound up having a stepfather at the age of 16. But my mom and him didn't get married until like after I graduated high school. So me already knowing who my real father is and me at a position in my life where I'm already smelling myself, I couldn't handle the fact of my mom being with another man that wasn't my father. And he still to this day, he acknowledged that I am his daughter, but he don't say or call me out like a daughter. He don't hang out with me personally or intimately like a father-daughter thing. So again, I just treat men based on how they end up in my life or how I meet them or how I am approached by them or how I approach them. So respectfully, I just basically learn everything by experience. And because I am vocal and because I can communicate and because I enjoy having conversations, especially asking what it is that you like, what can I do for you kind of thing, it's like, that's just how I learn. It's just how I learn. And especially with my family, I only was taught something the right way, or it could have been the right way to them until I got in trouble. So many things for me just wasn't a lesson learned, or come here, baby, let me sit you down, let's have a talk. This how, it wasn't never like that for me. Like, I either got in trouble, I got my ass whooped, and I learned my lesson. Or I
That
was
was the
told not
same.
to do it because I don't need to do it. You don't need to worry about that right now. Or you too young to understand. And it's so funny because we met in healthcare. So counseling the kids, respectfully, I understand how valid children and teens' emotions and concerns really matter. You might not think they're not ready, but it doesn't hurt to have a conversation.
Exactly. I feel like this day and age, a lot of the conversations should be had more. Like I'm not saying that our parents missed that mark with having certain conversations with us, but there was a lot of conversations that like my mom did not have with me. And maybe down the line, like my grandmother may have like had them only because I asked. Because I'm like, well, everyone else is telling me that they're talking about this, that, and the third, or I'm seeing things or hearing things like I want to know more. And I'm glad you brought that up, like working in the environments that we have and the patients that we served coming in with like all these different stories. And they didn't know anything. And I'm like, I used to feel so confused sometimes. Like, should I tell them? Like, I knew we couldn't by right, but I'm like, oh shit, they're gonna find out anyway. And yeah, you said that you learned by experience. I feel like, and speaking for myself now in life, the way that I treat people is by experience, right? I'm not saying like I used to just treat people like crap. No, I was reciprocating energy. I'll say that. But now, don't shake your head. But now, I really am in a better space to like really humanize people, like because I want to be treated a certain type of way, so I'm gonna treat people the way I want to be treated. Like we were taught that at a young age, like treat people how you want to be treated. And if you don't have nothing nice to say, don't say nothing at all. So I try to reciprocate that type of energy. It's not always received the best way because I understand that everyone is just not in a healed space that I am in my life, and that's perfectly fine.
Well, not everybody raised how you're raised. I had to learn it the hard way.
Yeah, I was raised that way, but that's not the actions that was also modeled to me.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? So like, and I feel like that can blur the lines a lot too. Whereas though, if your parents, grandparents, whomever raised you, were teaching you these things and they were doing the total opposite, you're like, well, which am I supposed to do? If you're telling me to speak respectful and all the other stuff, every time I look, you cussing somebody out, I'm gonna think that this is what respectful speaking consists of. You know, whether or not I had my dad in my house or a male role model, do I know how to treat men? Absolutely, because I know how to treat people. Now, with that being said, I don't think that all people should be treated the same way because everyone comes with something different. You know what I'm saying? Like everyone's emotional intelligence and things ain't up to par. So I try to meet people where they are. Back in like with my upbringing, I wasn't taught that. It was just like, well, if a person is not rocking with you, then just leave them alone. And I don't know where I got this whole like wanting to deal with everybody from, like, because my mom and my family, they're not like that. If you give my mom one negative, like if she smells something wrong, she's not coming in your space. Me, I can sense it, but I'll still try to figure out like, hey, how are just being
That's that healing energy. That's what it is.
you know and your friend says something, I don't want to pronounce his name wrong, but he said I didn't grow up with my pops in the house, so I had to learn how to become a man. And
So,
that's what I was saying. At some point we may not have had certain things modeled to us, but at one point do you be like, okay, this is wrong, let me change it and be the example that I need to be for my
but like I said, it happens depending on people. It happens depending on experience. Sometimes the people we meet actually do change us or show us another way.
Definitely.
So
Amen
it
to that.
it, it just depends. But unfortunately, we do have to develop something first in order to maneuver in life, in order to just migrate from person to person.
good night, Big Lisa.
I have a question for your friend, the guy. What is his definition of being a man?
Say, what's your definition of being a man? Dewan on the call too. Act one.
Abby, move away from the mic.
Hey, Chump.
It's like rattling.
As if he respond.
So I was going to piggyback off of something Jazz said, that we can meet people that can show us something different. That is so true, because I feel like y'all meeting y'all and y'all been in my life for as long as y'all have showed me a lot of different Jessica, baby. that Virgo energy, like, yeah, like, and I realized that like every friend in person contributes something different, right? Whether it's family or whatever. And I'm grateful for that. I'm grateful to have people around me that every day I'm learning something new. You know, every day I'm making strides to change and be a better person. Every day someone is not every day, but sometimes people are holding me accountable for things that I may say or do, because I may look at it to be right. And they'll be like, oh, no, Shakita, like, let's bring this back around. Let me show you why you're wrong. And those type of people you want, you know? Again, because like you said, sometimes people will show you things that you may not knew need to be addressed. But
I mean, and any encounter with anybody is a learning experience, whether it's teaching you something new, teaching you something you never want to do again, you know, teaching you something about yourself, teaching you something about the world. You know, you just got to be open to whatever the lesson is. Like,
Right.
anytime you encounter anybody, you're meant to learn something on some level. You got to be open to it.
definitely, this was
And
a
to
great.
me, if nothing else, it at least reaffirms what you do or don't think you already believe.
That is true. That is true. I mean, like you said, it's a person has to be open, because sometimes people, you can talk to your blue in the face and it goes in one ear, not the other. You know. Um, Damn, Jazz, you said something and I wanted to touch on it, but I can't remember what it was. But it was yesterday. You said something about, like, when you are giving, you're giving to other people, and they'll say they'll do certain things, but then they don't come through.
Oh, you talking about when I said if you could do a show about lending a hand, but people don't lend a hand? Is that what you
Yeah,
mean?
yeah,
So yeah. So yesterday I mentioned something about when people lend a hand but don't really lend a hand. They always make themselves available, but in a time of need or when you need the support, all of a sudden their actions become their excuse, and people will show you that they're there for you, and then they'll show you something completely opposite. It's just not
it's
for me.
like, what extent do you stop giving though?
I think you stop giving when you're really not fulfilling, when you're really not being fulfilled, or with, okay, let me start over. When you realize, or when you know for a fact you're giving too much and you're not getting anything at all, or there's lack of appreciation.
Mm-hmm.
Another another awareness is when someone always says they're going to do it, but they don't do it, but they always have the mindset or be in the mind that they're going to do it.
Mm-hmm.
Someone that could talk a real good game and portray themselves as having all this access, but as soon as you need the help, especially like getting a job, you told me you was going to help me get this job. All of a sudden, their power that they claim they had, they don't have it no more.
Mm-hmm. They don't come
Um,
through.
so it's like, but it's okay for the other person to come to you, and you always fulfilling a need. Everybody need. Like, why does it feel that way every time? Why do you always have to feel like you're the person that's always doing more than the other person? Like, people know how to drain or burn their bridges. People know how to literally take advantage of that. But
Is it people taking advantage of it, or is it what a person is allowing them to do? Because
it
it's
could
just
possibly
like,
be both.
right.
Sometimes people take advantage of what is a great benefit to them, or what they see is a great way of getting in and getting ahead. But
Mm-hmm.
then there are some people that actually allow, for whatever reason, they don't want to give up the person. They don't want the person to die off. I don't want to say the wrong thing, and this person end up dropping out of my life, or you know, somebody wind up putting a curse on me because they're that type of person.
Yeah, that's real.
So you really don't know. But
I was told for a taker, they're gonna take as much as you're willing to give. So
and
you
it's not even give, even if you still have it. Like, when you gonna say no? Because, like I said, no is an option, and you can't take something if I don't have it.
right. That's true. That's true. This has
And
been
it's about your, just to add just one quick thing to that. It's about your own intentions as well as the giver. Like, is it something you genuinely just do, not with the thought of reciprocation? Yes, obviously it comes to a point where it's like, now my cup is empty, you know, it's not getting poured back into. But at the same token, it's like, some people are just really good people, so they would genuinely do anything for somebody that they're capable of doing, not for the sake of they want the praise, they want their appreciation. Just literally, you have a need, I can fulfill it. That's all it is. But then once it crosses that territory of, I'm only doing these things to receive something back, you do have to check your own intentions as well.
Right.
and that's important because, like you said, some people generally just do because they can and they don't accept anything. For that type of person, at times, because I've been in those spaces before, right? You just have to. It takes self-control as well. Like, stop giving so much of yourself, especially if it's not being received how you want it to be received, or people are not like appreciative of the energy you're reciprocating. You know what I'm saying? So I think it's just something to just be mindful about. It does happen in relationships as well. I don't know if that's. I think things like that need to be communicated. It's important. Like, hey, I don't feel like you're giving me what I need to get. I don't feel like you're giving me what I need right now. This is what I need. I need you to do X, Y, Z. Otherwise, it goes back to what we said in the beginning. A person is not going to know. And I'm learning that, you know, like I said on the episode, I expect people to be mind readers. Like, why are you not reading my mind? Why don't you know how I feel? Why don't you know that I want to
They
yell?
are not Mrs. Cleo, Shakita.
I know. I said I'm working on it. But this has been a wonderful discussion. Did either one of you ladies have anything else to before we close this out?
I think you asking the wrong crew. I think you need to ask if they want to comment or got a question.
Right.
I mean, no one said anything. Do anyone that's watching our beautiful faces have anything else to say? Any questions, concerns? Because y'all was lighting us up with messages for the last couple of weeks. Y'all had a lot to say. Some of y'all probably.
Okay, my light's about to go off a little bit because I'm about to go to New York, but I'm still on here, okay?
Okay.
But otherwise, like I said, for those that was not here in the beginning, if you had not got a chance to actually check out the episode of the Candid Conversation, Abby, meet yourself, the Candid Conversations, navigating the dating world, please do so. It's 2 episodes back. You can find the link in my bio. Chronicles of a Virgo podcast is available on all of your podcast streaming sites, so please tap in with me. This is not the end of this conversation. We are rolling out another episode. I can't remember the actual date, but it's the end of this month. On the initial episode, it was requested of a man and someone in a same-sex relationship. So we are having conversations with someone in the same-sex relationship coming up, as well as some men. And we are going to continue this healthy dating conversation. So yeah, if you are not following this page, please do follow me. And like I said, tap in with the podcast because we got some more stuff coming forward. If you are a person that wants to connect, collab, whatever, DM me, email me. All my links are in my bio. I don't think anyone said anything. Miss Sarita, girl, thank you so much for coming through with your words of wisdom. I love you very much. Keish, thanks for sticking through. I think my mom is gone to bed. And everyone else that tapped in with us, thank you, thank you, thank you. I really appreciate it. Y'all have anything else to say?
Nope. Stay tuned for the next one.
Abby, you have anything else to say? This child.
Sorry.
Jess, you have anything else to say? Miss Next Top Model? Cash, do you have anything else to say?
Right. Where he go?
Chilling. Okay.
Golly, that little nigga be on it. All right. Well, within that, thank you guys again for tuning in. I hope you guys have a safe and wonderful night and also weekend. Peace out, lovely people.